Hey guys, welcome to another episode of my channel. So today we are going to continue our story about communication between ESP microcontrollers and Android phone over USB. And if you are new in here, you must know that this is actually 5th episode about this subject. And in today's episode we are going to make some simple serial plotter for our ESP microcontrollers on Android. And in order to understand and follow code from this episode, it's strongly recommended for you to watch at least the first 2 episodes from this mini-series. And of course, if you want to see entire code, you can find it on my GitHub page. Link is going to be provided in the video description. And there you can find the basic example, and you can find these 2 classes, cable tester and USB metadata reader. And that's actually code from our previous episode. In mine activity, for now, you are going to find code from cable tester, but we are going to edit this code and turn it into data plotter. So what is my intention for this episode? I want to read data from ESP8266 microcontroller through USB connection with my Android phone and to plot that data using MP Android chart library. Now you have to understand that MP Android chart, it's actually huge library and you can do it all sorts of plotting with it, but this is not episode about MP Android chart. We are just going to use its basic functionality in order to build this project. And in order to build this library into your project, you have to add to your build Gradle app dependencies implementation of it. So GitHub FieldJ MP Android chart version 1.1.0. And in settings Gradle, you have to add this line. So in repositories Maven with URL https jetpack.io. Now, first thing, let me show you my design. So what I did from our previous episode, I pushed this edit text and this button to the bottom of this form because we are not going to need it for this episode anyway. Then I minimized our text view and I've put it in the corner because I just want to get additional windows with value we are reading from our microcontroller. And the main part of our form, it's our line chart. And let me show you in my code. This is our line chart. So it's GitHub, MyFill, charting, charts, line chart. And you are actually going to get this control when you install MP Android charts library. So now if you understand this part, let's go to mine activity. And as you know, mine activity, it's same like in previous episodes. So when we did our cable tester project. Okay. So what now? What I'm going to do first? In here with our global variables declarations. First, I'm going to create one line data, call it data. Line data object is going to hold all of data sets that we are going to present to our line chart. And we are actually going to have only one data set. I'm going to create it right now. It's a line data set, call it T or better F, doesn't matter. I'm going to include this library right now, import class. So as I said, this is not episode about MP Android charts, and maybe sometime in the future I'm going to make some episode especially about that subject. But for now you have to understand, we have a line chart object that is in my activity, this line chart. Let me show you. We have this object that is going to show our data. But what we need, it's a line data. Data, it's going to store data sets. So you could have multiple data sets per single data object. But that is how it goes with MP Android chart. So you have data sets are going in data, and data goes to line chart. So now we need one function, one support function. I'm going to make it now is integer. Don't worry, I'm going to explain soon what I'm doing. This function is going to have string text as argument. As you know, in these few projects, whenever we received some piece of data from our microcontroller, we turned it into string. And that's not absolutely necessary, but it's one way to solve things. And now we have to provide values to our data set in form of integer. And as you know, not all strings could be turned into integer, so we want to avoid errors. So with this function, I just want to be sure that our string could be turned into integer. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create char array, call it chars from text to char array. Okay, and now for char c from chars, I want to ask if c not equals 0, and I'm going to copy this 9 more times. Don't worry, I'm going to explain everything in a moment. Okay, what is this about? So we have created a char array out of our string. So now with this for loop we are going to iterate through every element, and then we are going to check whether our character is equal to some of these numeric characters. If it's not, that means that our string cannot be converted into integer. So we are going to return false. As you know, usually at the beginning of communication between ESP microcontrollers and Android phone, we are going to receive some junk. In this way, we are going to prevent errors. And almost to forget, I need one more variable in here. It's line chart, call it line chart. And that is actual object that is going to present our data. Now go to on create. On new intent, it's totally fine. We just wanted to react on USB attach event. And so I need this text view because we have it. I'm going to make some space in here. So first thing that I'm going to do now, it's line chart. We are going to make reference with line chart visual object. Now we are going to deal with some properties of this line chart. So line chart get description, set enable to true, then line chart get description, set text. This text is going to be presented in the corner, so I'm going to write something like USB serial data plotter. Okay, then line chart set touch enable false. We don't want to deal with touch events. And line chart set drag enable false. So I have to repeat that this is huge library. We are just scratching the tip of the iceberg of it. Okay, now we are going to make instance of data. It's going to be new line data. So we are going to plot our data in form of line. Then we are going to deal with data, set value text color, and let's go with color black. This is actually color of the text that is going to be written aside of every value point. And now I'm going to use my line chart, set data. I'm going to add data. And now we have to deal with our data set. Okay, line data set, call it set. It's going to be new line data set, and first argument is going to be null, because we are not going to provide values during instantiation. And I'm going to provide some label, first set. Okay, like this. Now set axis dependency, y axis left. Now set set line width. This is some floating point number. You can put any number you like. I'm going to use 105F. Now set color. Let's go with green. Color green. Okay. Set mode. Line data set mode. All right. I'm going to go with cubic Bezier. And now set cubic intensity. Let's go with 0.1F. Okay. And finally, add data set. And now, just to be sure, I'm going to say that F it's data get data set by label, and I'm going to provide this label text. So first set. Okay, and I believe that I have to cast this value. Yes, it's only casting. And why is this error? Yeah, we have second argument. Second argument, it's about whether this label text is key sensitive. I'm going to set false, or let's go with true. Actually, it doesn't matter in our case. And we have to add one more line. Data notify data change. And now, when this part is done, we can go up in our onConnect method, and we are going to need our code up to this point, up to the moment when our connection is established. And I'm just going to delete all of this up to the moment when our connection is closed. Okay, and in here in between we are going to make code for this episode. In order to make everything to work in real time, we are going to create a new thread. New runnable. We are going to start it immediately. Then remove unnecessary empty space, make some more space in here. I'm going to use while loop, while true. So I'm not going to worry about this loop, because for this episode I just want to show you how to plot your data, not how to make your code error secure. Later on, if you would like to build some final product, you are going to deal with that problem according to your needs. So first thing that we are going to do in here, we are going to create one byte array, message, new byte with 100 elements, and we are going to read the data from our USB. So port read into message, and timeout it's 2 seconds. Of course, we need to surround this with try catch, and we are going to do the rest inside of this try catch statement. And now I'm going to create one integer value, and I'm going to set value to -1. And now, next thing is to create string out of this byte array. So string is, I'm going to call it T for no reason. You can name it any way you like. It's going to be new string out of message and encoded as UTF-8. Okay, and I'm going to trim it immediately. And now, important part. So if is integer this t and t dot length greater than 0, we are going to do our coding. So what's the point with this? First, we are creating integer variable that we are going to provide to our data set, and we are setting its value to -1. And within this string t, we are going to store string representation of message that we have received from our microcontroller. And as you know, that message could actually contain some junk that couldn't be represented as integer, and we have created this isInteger method in order to prevent that. But we also have to prevent a case where length of our string is 0. So if these two conditions are met, we are going to proceed into storing integer data in our value variable, and then we are going to provide our value variable to our data set. But if these two conditions are not met, our variable value is going to remain with value of -1. Later on we are going to check if value is still -1, we are not going to append that value to our data set. So now let's see about this piece of code. First, I'm going to use text view to set, and I'm going to set value to t, and now value is going to be integer value of t, and then we are going to use our data set to add entry. I'm going to add new entry, and first argument it's data, get entry count, and second argument it's our value. So what is this? In here we are adding another entry to our data set. This data get entry count is going to return already present number of values in our data set. So basically we are going to get value on our x-axis. On our y-axis we are going to plot value that we have received from our microcontroller. And for next part I'm going to run on UI thread new runnable, okay, public void run. And actually when I better think of, I'm not going to check for value for -1. There is no need to complicate things, because this if statement is going to solve all of my problems. Okay, now in here what I'm going to do, first I'm going to remove data set with index of 0, meaning already present data set. Then I'm going to add another data set, f, that is data set that we just appended. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my line chart to set data once more, data to data, then line chart, this is important part, line chart, move view to x, and data, get entry count. So I want my view to be moved accordingly to position of our data count. Okay, now data, notify data change. Now line chart invalidate, because we want our line chart to be repainted again, and then line chart animate dot start. Okay, and one more thing, thread sleep for 1 second. All right. Okay, this is done. Now I'm going to upload this piece of code to my phone, and later on we are going to test it. All right, my phone is connected. Let's upload it. All right. Now, before we test this piece of code, let me show you another thing. My ESP8266 code. So I'm presuming that you have been following this mini series of tutorials, so I don't need to explain everything in details. So what this piece of code is actually doing, we are rising values by 1 per every 250 milliseconds until that value reaches 250. Then we are going to reverse direction. We are going to subtract 1 from this value on every 250 milliseconds until this value reaches 0. Then we are going to start rising value again. And this piece of code is actually already installed on my ESP8266 microcontroller. So now we are ready to test this code. Okay, I just realized that I have one mistake. This is code from our previous episode. Actually, code is totally fine. It's for ending communication, port close and connection close. But for this episode, I don't intend to do this housekeeping stuff. So as I said, for this episode, I just want to show you how to plot your data, not how to make your code fail safe. You are going to deal with that part later on if you want to make something serious out of this. Okay, for now, I'm just going to delete this piece of code and I'm going to upload this code once again. So guys, now you can see my phone with application we just installed, and in here you can see my ESP8266 microcontroller connected through USB cable, and now I'm going to plug this USB cable into my phone and I'm going to press OK. Okay, we have start with readings. As you see, values are going up. I'm going to fast forward this so you can see both rising and falling off values. All right. So guys, that's all for this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope that you have learned something interesting. So please like, subscribe and see ya!